It's member-supported Hawaii Public Radio and All Things Considered. I'm Dave Lawrence. Thank you very much for joining us. We are joining you for this portion of the program in our Atherton Performing Arts Studio, which is always a fun place to be. And it was just a week ago we were in here with the Manhattan Transfer. And now we've got a gentleman making a return visit to the venue. He's got a gig tomorrow night at the Blue Note. It's going to be at Gertrude's Jazz Bar on Tuesday and Wednesday, the 11th and 12th. He's at the MAC coming up a week from today on Friday the 14th. The Hapuna Prince Hotel on Saturday the 15th. The Next Chapter Tour, according to the poster for Andy McKee, who is the live book is still your latest one, huh?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Welcome back.
Hey, thanks, man. It's very nice to be here again.
It's great to have you here again. And this is your first visit back to the island since, what was that? When was that, Andy?
It was a year ago in May.
It was May.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
You remember it.
Mm-hmm. And I think we had just released the live album.
Okay.
Like the month prior or so. And so this year, actually, I'm really not doing that much touring because I'm working on a new album. So we got a few things finished there, and just got a few more tunes to finish composing and record. That'll probably be out early next year.
And you're recording that where?
At my house, actually. So we'll see how the final sounds. We'll get it mixed, and maybe if it's we want something different, maybe we'll go somewhere else. But that's where I've done my last couple of albums, really, other than the live one, obviously. But
Right.
Just recording in the studio in my house. Yeah.
And the inspiration, you said some of the stuff yet to be composed. So it's when do you know you're done? I mean, sometimes when you're doing a record, like Jeff Tate, he's doing these 3 records. They're all like a trilogy. He's got the songs worked out. It's like 3 books, if you will. Sometimes people have a theme or something. So when you think about it's still in progress. Is this more, when do you know it's done?
Yeah, well, I just keep hammering away at these compositions. The way that I come up with music is a little bit unusual, I guess, for a guitar player. It's not maybe the normal. I love to use these weird guitar tunings, and then I just begin to explore, and see what I can come up with. And it's been called like being a hunter-gatherer, I've referred to that way, because you're not really thinking so much about the theory, even if you know some music theory like I do, and chord construction and things like that, but you're using your ear more to find out what can I do. If somebody sat down at a piano and just changed what every key was, you can imagine how just strange that would be. You have to find what you can do with it. So that's kind of my approach. And so in any case, I might come up with an idea. It's been kind of tricky on the road touring so much. Like I'll come up with an idea on the road and record it on my phone, and then when I get back home, maybe 2 weeks later, come back to it. And so it can be a little bit like a time-consuming process because of that. But that's why I'm taking some time off this year too, so I can just kind of focus on it and get them wrapped up. So we're getting there. But yeah, it'll be early next year, I imagine.
It's amazing, the process and how different. Because other people are like, I'm going to reserve the month of June. I'll be at home. Writing is it's not done one way. And many artists have very specific routines. They want to do it in a certain place, or sometimes people do it piecemeal on the road when they. So I was just curious what on your website you had said that you were going to be taking some time off to do that this year. You want to warm up with a song to kind of just set your vibe. He's armed as usual with the guitar and whatever you think would just kind of welcome you to the room. Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Well, this is an older tune. Actually, it was the first tune I wrote for fingerstyle guitar, and it was inspired by a trip to a little village in Colorado called Ouray is the name of it. So that's the name of this tune. It's called Ouray. Give it a go.
Andy McKee here, Atherton Performing Arts Studio, All Things Considered. with Andy McKee in our Atherton Performing Arts Studio, all things considered on member-supported Hawaii Public Radio. And big Hawaii tour starting up tomorrow night at the Blue Note, continuing next week on Hawaii Island and on Maui. And we were talking about you taking some time off this year to write some new music. And one of the other things that you do is sometimes teach people things, and there's going to be some opportunities for folks to be doing that coming up also on this tour. I understand later in the tour, but I see you also have guitar lessons, because Andy has a unique style, guitar lessons online at True Fire now.
Yeah.
What's that about?
Oh man, that was something I've been wanting to do for a really long time. I used to teach private guitar lessons for about 10 years. Before, I started touring around and doing that full time. So I always enjoyed, whenever I had a chance to maybe do some instruction stuff on the road. Like we're doing a workshop over at the Hapuna Prince Resort before that show, sometime in the afternoon, I think. And so that'll be fun. But yeah, the True Fire thing, we just started this spring. Went down and recorded the instructional videos, I think for 5 or 6 of my tunes, and just kind of breaking down what the tunings are, and then just every beat, pretty much through the entire tune, showing you, where the left hand is and the right hand, what's going on there, and how to put them together and all that. So it's something, like I said, I've been wanting to do for a long time. I'm just happy to finally get it together, and we're gonna do more of those in the future. Continue on with some of my other pieces and show people how to play them. And
that's great that you have that for everybody online, and then it's cool when you're in town. Obviously on Hawaii Island, that'll be great for folks who. There's a lot of people like to sit around and jam with acoustics here in the islands, as they do in many places in the world. And certainly that'll be neat for them, because you have a unique style, and it's nice to get some of the secrets. And I was seeing you had toured Canada with Tommy Emmanuel, and some teaching, it looks like, events coming up with him, but in the United States.
Right. Yeah, that's right. This year I'm doing a few different guitar camps. For the last couple of years, I've hosted my own, which has been a lot of fun. We did that in New York at a little resort up there, and it's me, and I invite 3 other great fingerstyle guitar guys. We just hang out for a week with students and do classes, and have dinner together and have a couple drinks in the evening. It's just a lot of fun. But this year I decided to maybe put my camp on a break and try other people's. Yeah. So it's just later this month. I'll be teaching at Tommy Emmanuel's camp, and at the same resort is actually Joe Satriani's camp at the same time. So I'm gonna jump over to his camp and teach as well at that one.
That's incredible.
Yeah,
I was blown away. I saw it. Now, have you done a Satch, a G4 experience before?
I haven't, and he's the last guy for me that I haven't met and that I always wanted to. So I'm really looking forward to it. I got to meet pretty much everybody else that inspired me or made me want to get into the guitar.
So you haven't even met him yet?
I've never even met Joe Satriani, so it'll be fun just for that. I can just shake his hand and be happy, but it'd be
incredible.
Fun yeah.
And so Joe, for people who don't know, Joe Satriani does these, what Andy says he does himself too. He puts on these events and he gets some other big name guitar players, and they'll be there, and people can pay money to come and get to up close instruction and personal interaction. It's all in an intimate setting. And I was looking at Satch's. He's got, do you know Phil Collin?
Sure.
Warren? So you know Phil Collin from Def Leppard?
Sure.
You know him, know him?
No, I've never met him.
Okay,
no.
That's what I was saying. So
I
know you know who he is, because
yeah, sure.
Despite your acousticness, you were a metalhead to start. So I know
that's right.
I know that you know who Phil Collin is, but so you don't personally know him. Warren DeMartini.
Never met him.
From Rat.
Rat, I believe. That's right. That's right. From Rat. Yeah.
Maybe you can learn a little acoustic
round and round.
Do you know that one?
I don't know. Okay. Unfortunately.
That would be a cute one. There's definitely a. I think that's about the only one I can remember from them. Or
hit.
Paul Gilbert.
I have met Paul Gilbert actually at a guitar festival in Denmark. We were both playing at and just met him backstage once. But that was incidentally at that same festival I met Draco Malfoy, Tom Felton. He's really into guitar. So in any case,
who?
I don't know if you've ever seen the Harry Potter films.
Okay.
He's kind of the bad kid,
okay.
Or, the little blonde kid.
And he was there at the.
He was just into guitar, so he was there. But In any case, I haven't met Warren DeMartini or.
And I asked because I was looking. It seems like there's some level of interactivity between some of these artists. So that's one of the things that I think makes these guitar camps pretty special for the cats who come, right? Because unless I'm misreading what I saw, you're going to be playing with some of these guitars.
There'll be concerts, in the evenings and stuff. So
collaborative, though.
Yeah, we might do some sort of blues jam with everybody knows like a 12-bar blues or something.
Do you know who's the agent sets it? Do you know what you're getting into in these things? It's kind of like this is what you're expected to do.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, it's like teach an hour-long class each day or something like that, and then perform at the end of the night. But,
that's amazing. It'll be a really special thing to have. I've had Satch never here. I've been trying to get him actually, because I know his publicist pretty well. I'm trying to get him to come and do something in the room. He's got very little Hawaii stuff, and he's always coming back and forth. So it's kind of like
from Asia.
Yeah.
I guess,
So it's just like, man, I'd love to stick him in the room, and he's such a wonderful, really nice guy.
Yeah,
he's really, at least from talking to him on the phone. And
I always loved how he's just so melodic. He would have these electric guitar tunes, and I feel the same way about like Eric Johnson. They just they're great guitar players, but they're not just up there shredding the whole time. There's really a great melody in there, that you'll remember. And
sure, and getting back to the instructional aspect of it, I don't know that there's a whole lot of. Are you the only kind of acoustic?
Yeah. Well, it's funny. Well, there's a third camp I'm doing too, which is John Petrucci's
camp. I was going to get into it. We just got stuck on camp 2, but yes, the John Petrucci one.
Yeah. So at that one and the Joe Satriani one, I'm like the
token acoustic
guitar guy.
Right. Yeah. That's what I was thinking. It looked like a.
It's going to be different. Yeah. I mean, because I'm sure it's going to be mostly guys with electric guitars.
Right.
But at my camp and other ones.
Well, you could do an acoustic photograph. You could do.
There we go. Yeah.
You could do
pour some sugar on me, maybe.
Yeah, pour some sugar on. Yeah, I'm trying to think what ones are there. A couple of their tunes actually have that kind of acoustic. Might be Foolin', right? Or one of those ones. That
Photograph has a nice little guitar line that could be.
But one I remember in the video they had like.
Some acoustic.
Yeah, I mean it's hard. It's like it escapes your mind, the ear candy of that stuff. But he's a nice guy too. Phil's been. I've spoken to Phil before. You want to play another?
Sure.
What are you thinking? What's a thing that you like
I'm always using these weird tunings. Maybe I'll just take a second to.
Yeah, take your time.
Change it.
You want to do a cover?
Yeah, sure. I'd say I'm not.
You doing any new covers that are that we need to know about that you haven't?
Yeah, actually on the new album, I can't do it right now, unfortunately. One of them's on harp guitar, another one's on baritone. This is just my standard pitch.
One of these times we got to get the harp in here. Jason's eager. He's been chomping at the bit to mic he's asking.
Yeah.
We got the harp coming in there. I don't know. I don't think that we do.
I really wanted to. I didn't bring it last time.
Is this custom made for you? That's so beautiful. The thing around the
rosette there.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is made by Michael Greenfield. He's a luthier in Montreal, and
man, that's cool.
I really only play his guitars. I've just
right.
I've been in love with him for a while.
So that's made for you though.
Yeah. And the baritone and the harp guitar are both made by him as well. But
that's it. That's a cool little inlay. Or what do you call that?
Rosette.
A rosette.
Yeah,
that's a cool rosette.
Around the sound hole there. That might be, I don't know what kind of wood it is. Maybe it's koa or something. Maybe not. I don't know my woods that well. But in any case, as far as covers go on the next album, I've got an arrangement of a tune from a video game that's called Skyrim was the name of the game. I know it's so odd to think about, but this game, it's almost like a movie, and the music is just so theatrical. It's got strings and all that.
And what inspired you to cover that? You're covering a song from a video game
song. Yeah, well, that's kind of my other hobby, to be honest. I really enjoy gaming. Like on flights and sitting in a hotel room or whatever at my house. Yeah. So it was just I heard the music while playing this game. I was like, this is really good music. It's ridiculously good. And I just thought, well, I'm going to put that on the harp guitar. So that's a tune called Streets of Whiterun from Jeremy Soule, the composer. But anyway, that'll be on there. And I've got a cover of Purple Rain from when I toured with Prince. We came up with an arrangement of that for acoustic guitar. I don't know. We'll see. A couple other surprises, maybe. I'm thinking about a Radiohead tune that my manager turned me on to. No Surprises. You know that one?
I don't know that one.
No Alarms and No Surprises. Might put that on there. So I'm just kind of messing with that right now, but we'll see where it comes.
Esoteric.
Yeah, yeah.
And so, which is this? You're going to play the video game one? No.
No, this is. I'll do Africa from Toto.
Oh,
I think,
nice.
here for you. Yeah,
Okay.
so this is from my old Dreamcatcher album. It's on the live one too.
Yeah, no, this is a tasty one, and certainly one Toto's big fan base here in the islands, and no doubt folks will appreciate Andy McKee's cover of Toto, Toto's classic Africa, here on our Atherton Performing Arts Studio, all things considered. love it how you bring it down like that at the end. You just like so incrementally know how to make it quiet in our Atherton Performing Arts Studio. Andy McKee, it's really cool, man. Here on All Things Considered. So when I hear those jams, one of the things that I think makes it neat for folks to have a chance to learn from you is because you have a very percussive style with the guitar, and it's unique. It's not like different people bring different things. You could have a real shredder like Yngwie Malmsteen, and not everybody could do what Yngwie does. Or you could have somebody like Michael Hedges that makes all these strange, and they may seem simple, but they're not, because it creates this ambience. And that's what I guess was so neat about a song like that. I can just sit here and the percussive aspect of it is unique to your style. And we talked about Michael before, the late great Michael Hedges, who was Andy had been like a metalhead, and then there was a series of things that kind of changed him, and one of them was exposure to him. I hadn't really realized, though, in talking to you last time, I don't think we even talked about it, and maybe it was because I hadn't discovered it, but not only has Michael been a huge influence to you, but his longtime bass collaborator, Michael Manring, who, if anyone studies Michael Hedges, you'll see, well, Michael Manring contributed to most of Michael Hedges' work, and now he's your guy, it looks like. Explain building that relationship, and that must mean something to you to have Michael Hedges' right-hand guy with you.
Yeah, that's been a real pleasure and a joy to have happen. It was funny how I first met him. Actually, there was a website called rootwitch.com, which I think it may still be around. It was a Michael Hedges sort of fan site, and there was a message board and all this. And Michael Manring had agreed to for them to have a contest on this website, and people could submit a song, and people would vote whatever they liked, they thought was a good song. And he agreed to have that play with that person on stage. And so I had submitted a tune called Dreamcatcher, which was the title track from the 2004 album, and it ended up winning. And so I flew to Chicago and just joined him on stage. And it was my first time ever meeting him or anything, but he had listened to the song a few times and came up with this really cool bass part, and so we played that together on stage. That was the first time I ever met him, was through that. But I wasn't really able to stay in touch with him until a few years later, when he agreed to do this tour with Don Ross and I in Canada. I think that was probably 2007 or so. And we just, hit it off again, and he's just a wonderful musician, wonderful player. We haven't really done much since then. We've gotten together a couple times, but it's just nice to be able to have that friendship with him, and somebody who was, not only a wonderful musician in his own right, but also was, on those albums with Michael Hedges, and it's just great to spend time with him whenever I can.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And so when you need a bass part,
yeah,
that'll be who. So for this new record, are there elements of collaboration, or is this going to be you just? I'm not
sure. I guess I don't really have anything yet that
would
I have
require
in mind
his
collaborative.
services.
Yeah. I did an EP before the live album, and there was a couple tracks on there that I kind of explored, multi-instrument type things, and I had like piano and cello and things in there, but I don't have anything in mind just at the moment for the new album that way. Well, I think mostly it'll be instrumental solo stuff.
And when you collaborate with Michael, did you guys sit and do some of the Hedges stuff? I mean, I've got to imagine that was a strange feeling for you.
Well, I didn't. I just...
You held off on all
Yeah, I don't know about what his feelings are about that,
right.
And I didn't want to make anyone uncomfortable or anything, or I think even I would be uncomfortable doing that. Maybe,
I can imagine.
So we never did, but yeah.
It's crazy. I mean, I couldn't think of a more ironic collaborative person, I guess, for you to end up with.
Yeah.
Than that.
Yeah.
And still have any interaction with Michael's, what was this? somebody in his family you told an emotional story about.
I've stayed a bit more in touch with his brother, just because I've played in Arizona a few months ago, and that's where he's at. And it was actually a lot of fun. We actually went over and had breakfast at his house the day after the gig, and I guess there was this family recipe for Belgian waffles. This is the Hedges Belgian waffle recipe. So here you go. You got to try it. And it's just great. His name's Craig. He's in Tucson, and he's always coming out to the shows now, and we go out for beers after the show. It's just
crazy.
Another, it's just nice to have that sort of connection and be able to tell those people, Michael changed my life.
Right. That's what I mean. It's weird. Bass player, his family.
Yeah.
But it's a great service. It's cool. And that's funny, having some breakfast. Didn't Michael have a breakfast in the field? What was that?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, maybe they're Belgian waffles in the field.
I was just thinking, there's a connection there.
Yeah.
Inside of that. And aside from the general public, excuse me, are there ever any pro musicians who credit you with introducing them to his music? Because it's such a neat thing what you're doing in terms of honoring his style, keeping his style, giving his name. It's a lot of continuation, but are there ever cats that you run into who say, it's because of you that I learned about?
Oh, I guess I haven't really had that, to be honest. Michael was...
under the radar, for sure.
He was kind of under the radar, but I think in the world of musicians, everyone kind of knew about him. At least everyone I've run into. So I can't say that I've had that experience, but definitely a lot of younger people and stuff saying that they heard about him because they saw an interview with me, or they saw me play a show and did Aerial Boundaries or something. Is
that the only one you do?
I also do Because It's There on the harp guitar, and I've learned a lot of his other tunes over the years, but I've kind of forgotten them, to be honest. And just because I'm trying to write my own stuff or learn other tunes, it's hard to keep all those in your brain. But he definitely inspired me a lot, and so I would just try to learn his tunes when I was in my early 20s and stuff. I had more of them under my fingers back then, but now it's usually those two that I'll do live.
And you would credit him as one of the more important sources of your style.
Absolutely, yeah. There's kind of four guys that really on the acoustic side that made me want to switch from the electric and explore the acoustic. Definitely Michael Hedges, and Preston Reed is another one. Don Ross, he's Canadian, really kind of funky acoustic guitar player. And then Billy McLaughlin does a lot of tapping, sort of unique ideas on the acoustic guitar.
Well, those provide people some avenues to listen to. This is great that you mentioned their names, because it's a service.
Yeah, I mean, those guys really changed my life when I heard their music, and maybe somebody listening will have the same experience, or if not, at least I'm sure they'll get some music that they're going to enjoy. This really great instrumental acoustic guitar music. Yeah.
That's cool. Well, that's great to give them plugs. People who are not maybe as well known as Michael per se, and who have contributed. So for fans who enjoy your playing, well, how about one more tune we wrap it up with? If there's a song that that you think would be a fun one, something maybe. That you're eager to play. Could be a new thing you're working on. Could be a favorite that you'll play live at one of these shows. Again, it's Andy McKee joining us. He's got a big Hawaii tour starting up tomorrow night at the Blue Note in Waikiki, and then heading on out and Hawaii Island and Maui destinations next week, and even a chance to learn a little bit while he's in town.
All right, well, might as well sign off with this one, I guess. This is one that kind of changed my life in a big way when I put some videos on YouTube about a decade ago. This is the one that went really viral. It's a tune I wrote when I wasn't quite sure what I was doing with my life. I had dropped out of college and started teaching instrumental guitar lessons, and I was about 19 years old. But in any case, this one's called Drifting.
Sounds so good.
Thank you, brother.
You are welcome. It's our friend Andy McKee back in our HPR Atherton Performing Arts Studio. He is playing tomorrow at the Blue Note in Waikiki, Gertrude's Jazz Bar, Tuesday and Wednesday, July 11th and 12th. The Mac, Friday, July 14th. The Hapuna Prince Hotel, Saturday the 15th. That's the date. Well, he's also going to be engaging in a master class. It's the Next Chapter Tour, live book, the latest album. You have fun today?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's great to have you back, and don't be a stranger. It'll be wonderful to have you back in here again, and just really appreciate your time. Thank you for coming and all the magical music today and the great storytelling. I really appreciate it.
It's my pleasure, man. Let's do it next time.